Well, we took a gamble on the farm this year and we are losing poorly. So at the beginning of the season, I want to say about the end of winter, we both sat down, my husband and I, and we were kind of making plans and talking about last year, things that succeeded and things we wanted to change maybe going into this next year. And one thing that we always kind of joke about every year is there's a common theme that it always seems like as we're standing there processing chickens, we're staring out at the highway and there's all this traffic going back and forth, people towing boats and RVs and quads and bikes and canoes and people going and doing stuff, having an adventure, and there's always us. Always a common theme is we're working. Always. We never seem to have time to be able to go do anything fun because we're just so tied down to the responsibilities of the farm. And so in that, we were like, okay, well, what specifically kind of keeps us tied down here the most? And that's simple. It's the meat birds. Those chickens, if you've ever raised them before, require a lot. They're very fragile birds, and so we got to thinking, and we were like, okay, well, instead of doing the batches every 4 weeks, what if we did it every 2 weeks? So we would need to build new brooders because in order to house that many chickens on site, you need somewhere to put them, and then you need to build more tractors when they go out to fresh grass. Again, you need somewhere to put them all. And so, no problem, there's going to be a little bit of money involved in that and time and effort. But hey, if it pays off in the long run and we end up shortening our meat chicken season by half the time, that'd be great. Um, but there was a little bit of a curveball as well, of course, naturally. So not only were we going to need to figure out a new brooder, new tractor setup, we also got notification right before the start of the season that the hatchery supplier that we normally go through, which is located out of Oregon, no longer is going to offer that variety of chick. They don't do the Cornish cross meat chicks anymore. So that was a real bummer. We really, really, really like that hatchery. We've had great success with them. So, it is what it is. We went and we sourced new hatchery suppliers, and we did find a couple. The problem is that none of them are in Oregon. So that being said, is the one that we did end up going with, regardless of, there was two. I think one was in Idaho, one's in California. Regardless, now these chicks are going to need to spend more time in transit before they actually get to us and get under a heat lamp, which means that they are going to be incredibly vulnerable, very stressed. You might have some dead loss on arrival. And then beyond that point, again, because of the extra stress that they endured, they're traveling in a plane, on a bumpy cargo truck somewhere, and it's cold. That can make it or break it for these poor little guys. And so, yeah, things have not gone very well on our gamble this year as far as trying to get the season done in half the time. There was So the new brooders needing to be built. We did change that up a little bit. Now they're in an open shop with a heat plate instead of an insulated area shelter with a heat lamp. And so whether or not it's the factor of them being in transit that much longer or it's our changed setup in their brooder, we have experienced so much loss this year. We're looking at our batch of chickens that are ready for harvest this weekend, and what was supposed to be 50 chickens in the freezer, we have 30 out there. There was one batch, this latest batch of new chicks that arrived within 24 hours. We had a total of 11 die on us. And so it's been a really brutal season as far as the meat chickens go. And I'm devastated. I'm not going to lie. I'm texting my husband left and right, and I'm like, I go back and forth. I'm so sad. And then like, I get so mad, And he's a wonderful cheerleader. He's, it is what it is. There's nothing we can do but just, try and learn from it and just move on. And so with that all to say, hopefully, you know, I had a video the other day and I was kind of talking about being a farmer, how being a farmer you're a gambler in essence. And we took a big gamble this year in regards to our meat birds and we are losing epically. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. The only thing I can hope for is at this point, obviously we'll try and learn from our mistakes. Maybe our hatchery supplier will reopen again out of Oregon. And by golly, I really hope we have a fun summer because that was kind of the point of this whole thing was to be able to find a middle ground in farming so that we as a family could also go make some memories. I'm grateful that we get to farm, but sometimes I want to go do stuff, and so does the rest of my family. And so I really hope when everything is said and done that we can at least salvage what's left of the summer and have a good time. It is what it is. There's not a lot I can do at this point. So life is not always sunshine and rainbows on the farm. Sometimes things really don't work out. But what are you gonna do?